Hello, my dear students. Welcome back to our science class. Before we proceed to our new lesson, let's do pre-assessment. For your pre-assessment activity, you will have an online game. The game code will be provided during the online game. The questions based from your previous lesson. The time limit for this activity is only 3 minutes. Now, look at these two materials. These materials have been formed into shape and has been molded. In what way have these materials been shaped? Very good. These materials need to be melted, put into the mold, and cooled until they become hard. Today, we're going to learn about Lesson 3.4, Cooling Matter. On your student book, it is on page number 46 to 47. Learning objectives of this lesson. First, analyze that the freezing is the reverse of melting. Second, investigate how different materials freeze. So at the end of this lesson, you will be able to analyze that the freezing is the reverse of melting, and you will do an investigation how different materials freeze. Before we go further to our lesson, let's define the following keywords so that you will be able to understand more the concept of the lesson. First keyword, freezing. Freezing, it is a process where the liquid turns to solid. Second keyword, cooling. It is a process of becoming cool. So you need to read and practice the following keywords so that you will be able to understand more the lesson. When a liquid is cooled enough, it turns to a solid. We say it solidifies or freezes. Freezing is the reverse of melting. One of the changes of states in matter is freezing. When water or liquid is cooled, it changes to ice or in a solid matter. This change is called freezing. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. When a liquid cools to become a solid, it solidifies. Water solidifies at 0 degrees Celsius, but other materials solidify at much higher temperatures. Chocolate, for example, solidifies at room temperature. In science, freezing means the same as solidifying. So freezing is not just a term used for water turning to ice. Solid and liquid are states of matter. Melting and freezing are changes of state, because melting and freezing are the reverse of each other. The change from one state to another is reversible. This means that if you melt a solid by heating, you can reverse the change of state by cooling the liquid and causing it to freeze. So when we say freezing, changing of liquid to solid by cooling. Cooling liquid matter causes it to turn solid or freezes. Freezing is the reverse of melting. Changes of state such as melting or freezing, evaporating, and condensing are reversible. In all this example, the material can be got back to its original states or shape using the reverse process, the melting or freezing, evaporation or condensation. Example of these changes include ice melting into water and solid chocolate melting into a liquid. Remember, freezing is the reverse of melting.
Some solids melt and become liquids when they are heated.
Or the process of freezing.
For example, ice will melt into liquid water if you leave it at room temperature. Chocolate and butter will grow soft and melt if they are left sitting in the hot sun. And wax near the flame of a burning candle will melt and drip down the side of the candle. These changes can be reversed. When you cool liquid water down below 0 degrees Celsius by putting it in a freezer, it changes back into solid ice. Similarly, if you take the melted chocolate and butter out of the hot sun and leave them in the cool shade, they will harden again. And the drips of molten candle wax will solidify once they have run down the side of the candle and have cooled away from the hot flame at the top of the candle.
Now, you know already the process of cooling matter or freezing. Remember, melting when a solid turns into a liquid, freezing when liquid turns into a solid, and freezing is the reverse of melting. Because melting and freezing are the reverse of each other, the change from one state to another is reversible, meaning that you can melt a solid by heating, and you can reverse by changing the states or by cooling it, by cooling the liquid and causing it to freeze. It's time for an assessment. You will do your assessment in quizzes. This will be the link on how you're going to join the online game. The game code of this game will be provided during the online class. You will have only 5 minutes to answer the questions in the online game. For the plenary of this lesson, you will do it in Mentimeter. The link will be provided during the online class. You have only 2 minutes to do this activity. That's all for today. I hope you learn a lot about this lesson. For additional homework tasks, just download the homework task PDF in the school portal and do each activity. Good day and take care, everyone.